We got us a corpse and cartridge occasion.
Can we watch trailers on YouTube or will I get DMCA'd for this? Oh, is that Zuko? He looks cool at least. Uncle Iroh doesn't. Hey, did anyone watch the season 1? I watched the first episode, parts of it, and I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't make it. That's the koi fish. You know what I also didn't like as well? Is how so he's on Kyoshi Island. There was parts where like he was talking to Roku and stuff like that, and they replaced Roku with Kyoshi, and it's like, why did you do that? And you know what's also was even crazier? Sokka. You know how when Sokka got to Kyoshi Island and he was like being sexist, basically he was like, oh, you girls are warriors, women can fight. In my tribe they just cook. You know, he was like being real sexist, but it was necessary in the show because that helped him like evolve. He started off that way, but then at the end of that segment, he was like super humble. He walked in there, bowed down, and was like, I would be honored if you guys would teach me. That is fire. This is why I couldn't watch it, bro. It's because like the Netflix people who made it, they removed it because they was like, oh, we can't have sexist characters. This is blah, blah, blah. This is blah, blah, blah. But they completely misunderstood the point. It wasn't him just being like mean to women. It was him like learning. It was him coming from a culture that did things one way, and then him kind of growing up in that world, but then him realizing that's not how it's supposed to be done. And then he took that lesson he learned and then he applied it to the whole rest of the series. And with him growing up to be this global leader that he was in the world, that experience he was able to pass on to the world and also his own tribe. I understand why the people who made Avatar left this project, because they weren't accepting of that like story, bro. Is that Azula? Oh, nah. See, I can't, bro. I can't watch this. I can't watch this. No, 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 no. She doesn't have the like the intensity in the face. She doesn't even have the intensity in the body posture. When Azula started doing lightning, bro, the legs and like the angle of the body and all the movement was so sharp. Here, she's just standing straight, no martial arts type of like. Azula would have been so low to the ground, her base, because it's like martial arts, right? So she would have been so low to the ground using that lightning. Here, she's just standing there waving her arms like it's Disney Channel. Look at that.
Connected through the earth.
And see, what is this Toph narration? We're all connected through the earth? That does not sound like Toph, bro. That's cool. That part was cool. You guys see why I can't like watch this show, right? Because like I just will nitpick it to death and I'll just be so angry with everything, bro. Avatar is one of the greatest shows in my opinion. If I see some foolishness, bro, I'm just gonna be so disappointed. I wish they had done the series a previous Avatar. They should have did one that's like maybe like 10 or 20 avatars before Aang. I dislike how Korra, how she ruined the avatar cycle. Basically, she made it to where like the avatar doesn't reincarnate. Like the avatar can't talk to each other anymore. They can't talk to each other and get like experience from like their past selves and stuff like that. They really got to fix that, bro. That's the worst thing about the whole thing in my opinion. They got to fix that. The next avatar, they should make it like the next avatar like finds the sun spirit, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and then the sun spirit has some like crazy power that can restore the avatar or something. They literally made it to where you can't talk to the previous avatars. Why would you do that? Why would you make it to where you can never use Aang again, Roku again, Kyoshi again? That's like the ultimate cheat. You know how like in other animes or other shows, you can't like use the main character all the time? Avatar literally had a cheat code where they could bring back their most iconic characters all the time. And then they got rid of it. They got rid of their ability to call on Roku, Kyoshi, Aang, and even Korra. Even Korra. When the next Avatar shows up, you won't be able to pull Korra back into the story. Why would you do that? From a narrative point, why would you do that?